Back on MorningLine, thanks for joining us. Our guest this morning is Dr. Calvin Smith. He's from Meharry, and he's great. Always enjoy having him come on, talking about not only COVID, but also monkeypox. We had a couple callers. They may be talking about COVID. Let's get that, and we'll move on to monkeypox as well. We'll go to Ann. Ann, good morning. Hi, Ann.
Good morning. First, let me say that I'm glad that you've recovered well. My question is, I've gone this whole last 9 months trying to stay away, and I have a family member that is out there in the public eye and was in the thick of things all last week and was photographing the race and everything, and I got exposed all weekend long to the new strain of COVID I found out last night. So I'm 5 months since I had my second booster. So how long do I need to worry about the incubation period? I've got my COVID test lined up already. I've started Enbrel injections along with my methotrexate and my steroids and all my other junk. And I had COVID and started off with mild, but I tested positive for 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
So what can I look forward to if I get it with this round?
I'm with her.
And Nick, happy belated birthday. I meant to tell you that last week, and I forgot when I called in.
Well, thank you, Ann.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much, Ann. It's good to hear from you. And, you know, I'm just like Ann. I've been in some situations just like her where I'm like, all right, how long before I know? And I've got my home test. Answer that, and also the effectiveness you think of these home tests. Is it possible to test negative for that and still have it?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm always happy to hear from Ann.
Yeah, she's great.
Usually about 2 to 3 days is when things start to, you start to get some replication of the virus to the extent that they can pick it up.
So you start feeling achy, fever, cough, whatever?
So sore throat has been the predominant thing for this particular strain. But sore throat, fever, headache, all those things together, any one of those three things I would take as a red flag, okay? So there's that part. From the home test, and so I actually had a couple different varieties of home tests. I had the home test that was given to me when I took my PCR test, and then I had a couple of home tests from one of the local, I don't want to say the brand or the store name, but one of our local drugstores. The home tests vary in quality. I'm just going to be
like the ones that the federal government sent out free.
Those are actually pretty good quality.
Okay, I used that one a couple of times. Yeah. It is freaky when you do the home test. I've done it 2 or 3 times. My wife and I, you're supposed to wait 15 minutes, so I pop that in there and I look, and I'll just keep myself from looking. I don't want to see it creeping up.
I'm the same way.
I wait for 15 minutes. I go, finally, okay, what do we think? And you're looking for the faintest line.
You're looking for the faintest line. If you see anything close to a line, then that's positive. And I'll tell you, they're pretty reliable.
Okay.
I had the one from the retail chain was very, very, very good in terms of quality and in terms of like what it showed. So when I was positive, it showed positive strongly. When I was negative, it was definitively negative. There was nothing at all in the negative area.
Okay. See, I had a friend who felt some symptoms, did the home test, still felt lousy, went and got a PCR test, and the one at home was negative. Yeah. Went and did the PCR test, and that came back positive.
So my first PCR test, actually, Nick, when I first started to have a little tickle in my throat, negative.
Okay.
It wasn't until the second day when I really started to have a lot of symptoms that my PCR
Should the PCR, though, be more effective than the take-home ones?
The PCR, based on, you know, everything that we know science-wise, should be more accurate.
But
now,
even that,
but there's limitations to who did it and how they did it and how they went. You know, if you were not able to produce a lot of mucus, and I think on my first day, you know, I didn't have a runny nose or anything like that, and I wasn't able to really bring a whole lot down for them to test. That second day, though, my nose was running, and I had copious amounts of things for them to test, and I think that probably went there.
And so with the home test, by the way, you think more likely to have a false negative or false positive?
More likely to have a false negative.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay, more likely to have a false negative. Yeah. All right, well, and 2 or 3 days, you'll see, and she's been through it before, and hopefully you'll be okay. I've been in some crowds, and I'm telling you, I think I had told you I had gone to the Final Four this past year in New Orleans, and I don't know why I hadn't thought about it, you know, before I bought the tickets and we went, I was so excited, just focused on that trip, and we had a great time, but I still remember being in the Superdome, and no one was wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking as I walk out of there, I know I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
And knock on wood, I didn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're in a crowd, or you don't know, you're around 2 or 3 people, and boom.
Yeah. I mean,
It's timing, it's place.
And to that point, Nick, I've done a lot of thinking about it, and we as a society, we've gone through this thing now for almost 3 years now. If you think about when the first cases started in Wuhan, right?
Right.
So, it's been all-consuming. There's been so much fear. There's been so much panic. There's been so much anger, divisiveness amongst each other, things of that nature. And, I think that we are getting to a point now where the science is prevailing. People are seeing, people are slowly coming on board and understanding that, hey, look, this thing is not just an inconvenience. This thing is something that can set you back and cause you some problems for the long term. We see that we can't go to our restaurants because restaurants are closed.
Yeah, right.
All these kind of things. So the inconveniences are more than just personal. And I think people are starting to finally come around to, hey, look, let's look out for one another. Let's look out for the bigger picture. Yeah. And I think that the numbers don't really tell the whole story in terms of like vaccinations and everything like that. But I think that people slowly but surely are getting where we need them to get.
Let's go next to James. James, good morning. Hi, James.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. Several parts here.
Yeah.
All of us, the older folks, have been exposed to chicken pox. The monkeypox virus, is it going to be a 2-part, an A and a B shot spread over 30 days? And do you see all of these shots eventually migrating into one shot?
Monkeypox with everything else. Oh, yeah, that's a good transition for the moment to monkeypox.
Yeah.
What about that with vaccines? There is a vaccine for monkeypox. Is that something you and I can go get right now?
So, unfortunately,
would I want to?
Actually, fortunately, no. It's not something that everybody can get, nor would you really want to get it.
Okay.
Right now, the numbers are extremely limited here in Nashville.
The number of vaccines available.
The number of vaccines available. And the number of people who actually have it. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But the vaccines available are extremely limited, and right now, what the suggestion is, what the recommendation is that only those that are at extreme risk of receiving monkeypox, if you have high risk sexual behavior, you have high risk of contacts, those types of people, and people who are administering the treatment to people who might, the health professionals.
Is it a 2-shot sequence, do you know, or is it 1 shot?
The ones that I've seen and know of are 1-shot sequence, but I have to tell you, I'm not as versed on the vaccination sequence for it. So, but what I've seen and read is a 1-shot sequence.
Okay.
Yeah.
What we'll do is take a break. We'll elaborate more on monkeypox and exactly what the symptoms are and how concerned you really should be, and take more phone calls as soon as we come back right after this.
This is a Storm 5 weather.